Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir, and your radio station, perhaps?
Sure. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I started working in the industry right out of high school
Mm-hmm.
over in the Las Colinas area at the studios in Las Colinas in the Dallas area. Um, did a little bit of film in that area, and then I moved down here to the valley and started going to school down here and at UTPA at the time, and started working at Channel 5. I worked at Channel 48. Um, I've helped. Well, actually, I built Channel 17, KLJS for La Jolla ISC,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a chance to build my own radio station, 97.7 FM, KCYP, and then now I also operate KRZG Channel 35.1 out of the Mission McAllen area.
Okay. Start off the questions. How has social media changed your profession?
It has expanded our profession. I often hear people saying that television is dead or that radio is
Mm-hmm.
dead, and it's not. Maybe the way people listen to radio has changed, or the way maybe people watched TV or television has changed, but the number has actually gone up as far as the number of people watching or listening. Now, TV stations or radio stations have had to kind of evolve
Mm-hmm.
and start, adopting or adapting to social media and content. Content has to all, content still needs to get produced, whether it's for over the air television or for social media. But, the content's always there. It's always going to be needed. In fact, the demand has gone up.
Okay. What are some positive or maybe even negative changes that you've noticed in the new age of media?
The positive changes in media is that jobs have gone up. Now this industry, the video industry, the audio industry, the demand has gone up. Every company has their own media department now,
Mm-hmm.
and so the demand for people that know what they're doing has gone up. A negative aspect, and I'm not really sure if it would be considered negative, it's just it would be what I mentioned in the earlier response, that the way people are watching or listening has changed, and so broadcasters have had to adapt to the changes, and so you've got to stay abreast of the situation. You've got to stay in tune with what's happening in the industry and the changes, and you have to adapt in order to survive.
That's interesting. How does your media influence culture? Like as a media professional, have you experienced a time when local media influenced the community?
Yes, I think media has always influenced the viewers,
Mm-hmm.
the community, whether it's local TV or national television. Media is very influential. Has a power to influence. Has a lot of power to do right and to do wrong. And you see it every day. You see it in how do we know that there's a war going on, or that there's been
Yeah.
an explosion? It's through the media,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's local TV or whether it's we caught it on social media somewhere. There's a clip out there. If there's a bombing, if there's a shooting, if there's a um, you know if there's an explosion, then it's going to be all over social media. There's cameras. Now with camera phones and smartphones and so forth, and we can basically see. We find out about what's happening seconds after it happens.
Yeah. It's true. Like we see everything now in the news. It's virtually easy to channel it and find information. For the last question, how can a person looking to break into a career in your field begin? Like, what are some of the tips and you give your students?
The tip I would tell them to not give up. This is a very difficult industry to get into. It's difficult in this area in particular because the pay isn't all that well. You've got to move to a bigger market in order to be making the big bucks. And that's why I think a lot of people get discouraged. I always tell people, you've got to make your hobby your career. You've got to do your passion. If the media is your passion, if radio, television, film, that is your passion, just go for it. Even though you might think the money's not there, it's okay. Money's not everything. It's secondary. Money is nice to have. I'm not going to lie, but it is more important for you to be doing your passion, to be working. That's what's going to help you to get up every day and go to work for the next 20, 30 years. You've got to be passionate about what you do, about your career, about your field. And so the tip I would give them is make sure that if this is your passion, do it. Don't get discouraged, because you will be successful in this industry. And don't give up. Stick with it and don't get discouraged. There's going to be ups and downs in this field. It's expected. So expect a roller coaster. Sometimes you'll land a nice project, and sometimes there might not be any projects available. Other tip is to stay aware of what's going on around you. You have to stay on top of it. You've got to know what new technology is coming out. You've got to be aware of what's the new social media, trend out there, and you've got to stay, ahead of the competition.
It's very important. Well, thank you for answering these questions for me. This is Cassandra Ponce signing off for this interview.